there. Today's episode is books. My favorite books. As always, I'm tired. My brain's not all here. But, so books. I read a lot. I read a lot of books, and books. I've basically read just about almost everything in the library that I will read. Of course, my library card does have overcharges on it, so I really can't get anything at the moment. But yeah. So there's that. I'm fixing to go on the air, but we're talking about books. Alright, so books. Books and books and books and books. Sorry, I sound like Boots and Cats, and I don't like that. I hate Boots and Cats. You can thank Blake for that. Blake and Jacob. So yeah. Some of my favorite books of all time. Let's see here. We will start with... What should we start with? Let's go with the Boxcar Children books. The Boxcar Children it's about 4 kids whose parents have died and they don't want to live with their grandfather. And they find a boxcar in the woods, and they decide to live there. They find a dog, and they kind of make a home for themselves. And then Violet, the youngest sister, gets sick, and they go and ask for help, and they wind up staying with this older man who actually winds up being their grandfather. And that's basically the entire first book. And so there's over 100 books in the series. I have probably read almost all of them, except for some like the newer ones that have been coming out. But I've read just about all of them. I started reading The Boxcar Children when I was about 5 or 6. It was my first actual chapter book, and I read that thing a lot. I read it at least once a day at school, because that was one of the only books we had. Another set of books we had at school was the Mandy series, and those were really good. I liked those because they're mystery, and I like mysteries, and they were just a lot of fun to read, a lot of mischief. And let's see here, the A to Z mystery books, the Magic Tree House. If you have not read the Magic Tree House, something is wrong with you. Even as an adult, I love reading the Magic Tree House books. I don't know what they're doing in there, but it's loud. Let's see here. Something else I read a lot. Trying to think of children's books. There's a children's book series called Voyagers. It's a 6-book series, and it's really good. I've read them all. I'm slowly starting to collect them. They're really good. The Land of Stories by Chris Colfer. Those books are so freaking amazing. I've read all 6 of them. I just need to read the new one that just came out. I think it's like a book hugger's guide or something like that to it. I really want to read it. And then you have, excuse me, let's see here. He actually has a new book series coming out, and I'm so freaking excited. It's basically a prequel to the Land of Stories, and I'm so excited about it. Let's see here. What else? And so I'm a little more center. Okay. What else? 39 Clues were okay. The first 10 books were good, and then they made 3 different sub-series after it, and I'm it's a little much. Just much. I started reading the Infinity books. They were kind of like 39 Clues, but with a lot more history, which I thought that was pretty cool. And then some of the if you look in the library, you'll see intermittent you'll see like Superman, Man of Steel, Batman, these little thin little books, And those are really fun to read for me because I love superheroes and they're just really cool. Oh, let's see here. What's next? I'm trying to think of some other kids' books I read. The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, those are some of my favorites. I've read all of the original ones. Pretty sure I've read all of them. And then there's some new ones that have been coming out that I'm behind in because the library doesn't have them. Makes me mad. Because I like to be kept up to date on things, and it makes me mad. Harry Potter, I just started getting into. I finished book 4. Me and one of my coworkers who's trying to help me get all the books. We haven't been able to find book 5 used, and so I'm kind of I'm just left hanging. It literally sounds like somebody is upstairs, and I don't think we have an upstairs here. Oh no, wait, we do. It's the calf. Making a lot of noise, driving me bonkers. But yep. So let's see here. Other kids' books that I read. Mom will probably remind me later what things I missed. Trying to think of other books that I've read. Other kids' books. Crap. I currently can't think of any other kids' books. I'm gonna be going on air shortly, so I will be right back to talk to you about some of my other favorite books. Alright, so back to books. Alright, so I'm gonna start on some of the other books that I read that are not children's books. I will probably think of something later. Skippy John Jones, that's another kid's book that I grew up with that Mom and I love. Skippy John Jones, I have a mind of my own, and I pounce on my bed for hours, and something. I don't remember that, so that's the part I really remember. Those are actually fun to listen to as an audiobook. So there's that. Let's see here. Other books I read. I read the love-inspired, Christian romance novels. They're usually pretty good. I like the normal ones and then the suspense ones. Those are some of my favorite ones to read. And then, Red Monkey. I found some. If I'm in a history mood, I'll read Beverly Lewis, Jeanette Oak, David Bunn. I think there's one or two others that I'm not remembering at the moment. But that's it if I'm in a history mood. As I've grown older, I've kind of gotten out of the history stuff a little bit. There's still some of my favorite authors like Jeanette Oak. I love Jeanette Oak. It's just been a while since I've read them. But another thing that somebody else that I read, I'm gonna list them and I'm gonna explain. Lynette Eason, Irene Hannon, Dee Henderson, Diane Mills, I think her name's Danny Petrie. I always forget her name. I know what books she writes, but I always forget her name. But we'll start with Lynette Eason. She's a local author here in South Carolina. She lives in Spartanburg. I've actually got to meet her. I'm on her street team. I have read all of her books except for a couple that are like on Amazon that I haven't read yet, and there's a couple that are part of like a bigger book series that I haven't read yet. But I've read all of her mainstream ones except for one, and that's one of her newer ones. And then Irene Hannon, Lena Easton, Irene Hannon, and Dee Henderson are all in the same genre. It's like a Christian romance, mystery, suspense novel. That's what I call it. There's probably a more accurate name for it, but I don't know what it is at the moment. So they're really good. Irene Hannon, her books are really good. I'm behind in her books. I'm behind in Dee Henderson's books too. All three of them are really good authors. I love them all. Their books are so amazing. I've read all of their books at least twice, for the most part. I'm trying to think of what else do I read. I didn't mention Diane Mills and Danny Petrie. I don't know. I always mess up her name. Diane Mills, hers are definitely more crime novel, Christian crime novels. And then Danny Petrie, I think she's the one who writes the Alaska series. I've read all 5 of those at least twice, and they are so good. I want to reread them now. But they're amazing books. So just a little bit for you there. Yeah, I love them all. I'm trying to think of other things that I read, and my brain's just dead. I've read a few Doctor Who books. They're actually pretty good. Whether you're reading about the 10th Doctor or the 1st Doctor, or 11 or 4. They're all really good. So, I'm trying to think. I currently cannot think of any more. At least right off the top of my head. Chris Colfer has 2 young adult books that I like. One of them is Struck by Lightning, and the other one is Stranger Than Fan Fiction, or Stranger Than Fiction. I have not read Stranger Than Fan Fiction yet. I want to. It's on my list. I just haven't found it yet. And then I own Struck by Lightning, and then it was also made into a movie, which Chris Colfer actually wrote and starred as the main character in. Which, speaking of that, Chris Colfer's Land of Stories series is actually getting made into movies, and he's writing and directing them, and I'm so freaking excited for it. I'm like, yes, it's gonna be amazing. I'm so down for it. Makes me happy. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm gonna end this on that, because I cannot think of anything else. My mom will probably remind me, and I will let y'all know on Monday. Yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. It's another short episode. I'm working on the Orlando videos. I'm hoping to get them out this week. Fingers crossed. That's all I got. I will talk to y'all on Monday.